one of the things that I thought was it'd be really cool if I could sit down with them using AI and build them a game. And it's been this super addictive process that we've been doing.
How cool is this? Like, it took us about 5 minutes to build a really cool app that teaches kids how to use the multiplication tables.
If you can get kids excited about AI, about computers, about programming, all that stuff, the rest will take care of itself. All right. Hey, everybody. So good to be back for today's episode. We're trying something different. If you notice, for those of you who are watching, you see that I have a guest with me today. Manuela, you want to say hello?
Hello, everyone. I'm usually behind the scenes for this new way, part of the production team and distributing all the amazing content that Aydin and our guests create here. But I'm excited to be part of this episode. So let us know if you like this format and we can continue to do more of this. And what is this episode about?
We wanted to do something different. And so, obviously, on the show, we have a lot of great guests that come in and show a lot of different workflows. And I recently had an experience that I thought was cool enough that I wanted to share with everybody. And so I know a lot of the listeners on the podcast are, our parents. They have kids, or maybe they have nieces and nephews. You have a niece, right, Manuela?
Like I do, yes. And I'm excited to see what I can show my niece after you show us what you're doing with your kids.
So AI is obviously changing the world. One of the things that I'm hopeful that people who listen to this show will be able to do is to take some of these learnings and also teach their kids, because I think part of us, the group of AI forward people in the world, is we also want to show some of these things to our kids, to the people that we work with, to our friends and family, so that they too can get on this fast track of AI. And so the thing that I wanted to show and talk about today during this episode is a project that I recently did with my daughters. So for context, my wife and I, we have three kids, but we have twin girls who are 9. And what we are doing with them is they're learning the multiplication table. They're just trying to memorize all of it. And so they kind of know it well, but they don't know it fully well. And so one of the things that I thought was it'd be really cool if I could sit down with them using AI and build them a game that they could then use in order to learn the multiplication using AI and also get familiarized with this type of thing. And it's been this super addictive process that we've been doing. We've been, building this game together. And so for today's episode, what I wanted to do is literally share my screen and show you all what we have been building and actually build it from the ground up in front of you. And so the goal from today is that you can take this and do something similar with your own kids. Obviously, you might not build a multiplication game, but you might build other things. And I'm going to talk through it for those of you who are listening versus watching. I'm going to be super descriptive so that you all can hear what we're doing. But hopefully, this is going to inspire a lot of you. And then send it to your friends, send it to your significant others, send it to your family. Everybody should be building with AI and getting kids started young. So that's kind of my intention here.
Super cool idea. I wish I had this when I was learning the multiplication tables a long time ago. But yeah, show us what you've been building and how others could also build apps with their kids. That's such a cool idea.
So I'm going to share my screen. A couple of notes. The first thing that I wanted to say is I am using Lovable. So we have talked about this on the show. It's super easy to use. They have a great free plan. You can go to lovable.dev in order to build your own projects. The other thing that I'm doing for this episode is I also have this app installed called Super Whisper. Super Whisper is this really cool app where you press a key on your keyboard and you start talking and it will write down all the things that you say. Now, with that said, Lovable does have its own sort of, voice to text option. So you can use either one, but let's just start with the basics. So I have Lovable open. There's a big text box. I'm just literally going to ask it to build something for me here. And obviously, like if I wanted to build a full blown application, I wouldn't necessarily do it this way. I would, start with a comprehensive plan. But since this is something that you're doing with kids, this is like, I just want to show you how easy it is, that you don't need to get all complicated about it. And just a few little basic prompts like this can get you pretty far. So I'm just going to press record. can you help me build a multiplication game or quiz? This is going to be a game that my kids can use in order to learn their multiplication table. And really, I just want to build this as a quiz. So, what I'm imagining is we're going to have 9 different or 10 different cards, each representing a stack of cards for each one of the rows in the multiplication table. So, in other words, from 1 to 10, there will be 10 numbers on the screen. Each one will represent a stack of cards. And if I click on the stack with a 4 on it, then what I would want to happen is for the app to quiz me on all of the four multiplication table series. So, 4 times 1, 4 times 2, and so on. And I want that to be in a randomized order. So it's a little bit hard for me to just say what the numbers are if I had memorized it in that way. And it would be really nice if there was also a scoring mechanism just to know how many I got right or wrong. Okay, so I'm going to have it transcribe that. Again, if I was building a production grade app, I would not approach it this way. I would start with ChatGPT and then I would like actually build a super comprehensive plan and then I would iterate on it on a bunch. But the thing here is I'm going to submit this so that Lovable can start building what I just said.
And I'm assuming it
Um,
would take it at least a couple of minutes to build, right?
Yeah, so it should take a little while, and what's interesting, Manuel. I mean, you and I have done stuff like this before, but
Mhm.
it used to show you the code as it was being generated. I don't know why they removed that. So actually, it says, okay, here's what it's going to do. It's going to design bright, playful, educational app with vibrant colors. It's going to put these features: home screen with 10 colorful cards, randomized quiz questions, real time scoring, vibrance. Okay, so let me build this for you, and then it's going to go ahead and start building. So it's used to show the code. It doesn't anymore. And I think the reason is they're just trying to make this friendlier and more accessible to everyone. I could imagine if like anyone who doesn't understand code comes in and all of a sudden they see all the, code flying across the screen, that might be a little bit scary. So I think it's a good change. It's made the product more accessible.
Yeah, and I think it's also a great way, like what you're doing with your daughters, to show kids, like, hey, if you have an idea, now there are these really cool tools that can help you build this, even if you have very basic or no coding experience.
Exactly. Oh, and I guess it's already done. But okay, I'm gonna click to show it in a second, or actually, it is loading, so you can actually load it, see it on my screen. So there's, basically, like we said, 10 cards. So like, let's start playing it. So let's click on the number 6. It says, 6 times 10.
We're
Oh, I
gonna
have to
test you
type
here.
my answer. Okay, so you have to type your answer and it then says correct, and that's good. 6 times 5. I'm gonna type the wrong answer and see
See
what
what
happens.
happens.
And okay, so then that answer is wrong. So now it updated the score. So I have a 1 out of 2, 6 times 4.
How cool
So
is this? Like, it took us about 5 minutes to build a really cool app that teaches kids how to use the multiplication tables.
so this is really cool. And you can see it looks like it's going to give us 10 questions, right? I'm answering most of these wrong just to kind of get through it. And let's see what happens at the end. So the interesting thing is as you're going through this, what I realized when you're working with your kids on an idea like this, you're also helping them communicate better, right? So it gave me keep practicing and I can go back to home. So it allows them to also practice communication because in order to tell a computer how to build something for you, you have to really think in a logical step by step procedure. And, not every kid by default speaks in that way or thinks in that way, right? They might jump from one concept to another and so on and so forth. So one of the things it does is it teaches them to be able to like speak very cohesively. But you saw how easy this was, right? Like this was
Yeah,
like I didn't do anything special. I just told it what I want
very
and it
cool.
created this right away. Hey everyone, just a quick pause on today's episode to tell you about my day job. In addition to This New Way, I'm the CEO of a company called Fellow.ai, and Fellow is an AI meeting assistant. It joins all your meetings, it summarizes them, tracks the actions and the decision, and does that better than any other tool that you've seen. We've spent a ton of time making sure that the meeting notes and summaries and action items that come out of Fellow are the most accurate, the most precise. It beats any human. You have to try it. But in addition to that, what makes Fellow different is that it is the first AI note taker built from the ground up with security and privacy in mind. This means that you can use it for all your meetings, not just the customer facing ones, but also the sensitive ones, things like one on ones and executive team meetings and those QBRs and everything in between. It's got really good judgment. So, for example, if you start a meeting and you're talking about some social stuff that you don't really want on the record that's going to get emailed to everyone afterwards, Fellow just knows it just doesn't include those things. Or say you have something that you talked about and later on you realize, oh man, that shouldn't have been there. Makes it really easy. You can go back to the meeting, select that part, delete it, and then it's gone from the record. It connects to all of the other tools you use in the organization, whether that's Slack or Asana or HubSpot or Salesforce or Linear or Jira or Confluence, whatever it is, Fellow integrates with all those things. I think the best part is that Fellow also acts as an AI chief of staff. Because it sits on all the meetings and the conversations that you have access to, you can ask it really cool questions such as, what are the biggest opportunities in my company? What are the bottlenecks in engineering? And Fellow just pieces together information, sees trends, and it can answer those sorts of questions. It can even do things like, hey, based on all of the one-on-ones that I've had with this particular person, can you create them a performance review? And it can do things like that too. And the sky's really the limit. What I really wanted you to do is have the opportunity to try out Fellow, check it out, and we're making a special offer available to all our listeners. So just go to fellow.ai/this new way to try Fellow. There's a discount code in there for you if you decide to continue with it. Either way, I would love for you to try it and let me know what you think. And with that said, let's go back to the episode.
I have a question, Aiden. How are you explaining the concept of AI to your kids?
So good question. I basically explain it as just really smart computer program. And just like if you can explain what you think and what you want in a very descriptive way, then you can get anything that you want to be built by the AI. That's really how I'm describing it. The other thing I want to say is that it also allows you to do a lot of iteration, and so maybe we can do a little bit of that here. So maybe I'll ask you, like, what would you want? What should we do next? Like, what? How should we improve what we have?
Well, I was thinking about a 9-year-old girl who might want some unicorn designs for this game. We could ask it to add some illustrations, perhaps, or a design, or are you thinking about a different feature?
So let's do that and add a different feature. So let's try that. I wonder if you can add some illustrations, just put in some unicorn themes into the whole game. And one thing that would be really nice is that when I get a question right, it would be nice if there was like some sort of unicorn confetti and some sort of happy noise. And if I get something wrong, it would be really nice if there was a poop emoji and some sort of like other sound telling me that I got this wrong. And while you're at it, I don't like that I have to type my answer every time. Again, this is for 9-year-olds that are just learning, so I would really want you to show me the questions as multiple choices, maybe 4 choices per question, and so that should make it easier for me to do. Okay, so we just asked it to do a bunch of those things, so it's going to now go in the background and we can see how it does. But this is the really nice thing, right? Like it's this idea that they can start with something and then they can keep making it better and better and better, and it's this concept of iteration, and it can become a really fun game. One thing which is really interesting is, I mean, you may want to get, a family plan, I would say, with Lovable, where like everybody in the family can kind of use it, especially if you have multiple kids building different games or different apps. But I do want to say that Lovable actually has a pretty generous free plan. And what's cool about it is it comes with, 5 credits a day. So if you wanted to just get the kids started off with that, those 5 credits actually can go a long way. That is something that, you can get started and you can get your kids started with that. You do need an email account. And as parents, you can get email accounts for the kids. Google has a good approach to so that you can get Gmail accounts for the kids and it's still controlled by the parents. So that's something to look into as
Yeah,
well.
that is really good to know.
So it's basically now making the edits. You can see how much stuff it's doing just to create. Okay, so it seems like it has completed. Okay, so now it's like a unicorn multiplication table, which is pretty cool. Oh, this is nice. So now when I hover over it, there's like a nice little animation. We didn't even ask for that, but that's a nice little addition. So, okay, this is
Oh, look
really
at the
nice.
multiple choice. That's very nice.
Yeah, so this is, let's see if what happens if we get it right. Okay, so
Yay,
that's good.
confetti.
Some confetti. If we get it wrong,
Poop emoji.
poop emoji. Yeah, more poop emoji. I mean, the poop emoji is at the bottom. Oh, there
There's
we go.
the
There's a unicorn. That's
unicorn
kind of cool.
emoji.
So you can see that this is going pretty quickly, and we can add another feature to this too. One feature I'm thinking as I'm kind of going through this is it would be really nice if there was a timer, right?
Mhm.
Because there's no timer right now, so I can take as long as I want, and maybe I want to build a timer. So that's one thing I would ask for. What feature do you think we should add?
I mean, I feel like an addition to this multiplication game would be then a division game.
Oh,
If
that's
the kids
cool. Yeah, maybe
are
we could add division. Actually, that's a good question. Like, I wonder how easy it would be to just take the same stuff, and it doesn't have to be the complicated division, but just like the same sort of digits, and then just turn it into division. I would add one more thing too, which is it would be kind of cool if these are all the individual cards that you go through, but it would be nice if there was like a mix mode too, right? So it could kind of mix all the numbers,
yeah,
and we can.
yeah, randomized version. This is super cool. And Aiden, do you know if this is something then you could share, for example, with other parents? Let's say you built this app. I see a publish button or a share button at the top. I'm assuming it's something you could share with other parents now.
Exactly. So there is a publish button. You can create your own link, and let's go ahead and do that. So I'll just call it multiplication. Oh, and actually, it gives you a dot lovable dot app. Okay, it just says unicorn multiplication. So who can access anyone with a link? So it is now going to publish that. So now when I go into a that page, you can see that it loads. So yeah, anyone on the internet can now access this. And it's a good question that you asked, because one of the things that I was thinking, and we haven't done this yet, is just to create a website for each one of the kids, and then they can post all of the different games that they're building so that their friends can start, playing this as well. Let's keep building on this. So I just want to show people how far you can go with this. So let's just build out the things that you said. Okay, so this is really nice, but we want to add a few more features. The first feature is we want there to be an easy way where you can switch from multiplication into division, so that you can also practice your division. And it can be very similar in that it can use the same card format and so on and so forth, but just like there's a division mode, and you can go there and all the questions will be in the form of division. The other thing is I want to add a mixed mode. So right now we have all the cards from 1 to 10. It would be nice if there was another card, and that card would be mixed mode, and it would just mix all the different numbers together. And the third thing that I wanted to say is when you are going through one of the cards, there should also be a timer so that, you don't take forever to answer the questions. And we can show this in the show notes as well so that people can go play with this app and check it out. But the point is that it's super nice to just start iterating and building the same thing and making it better and better and better over the course of time. And I can just imagine if kids start with this sort of understanding of what computers can do for them, it's going to be very inspiring, the sorts of things they do as they start to grow up. Hey, everyone. Hope you're enjoying the episode. One of the common things that we hear is, hey, you all talk about all these different tools. You walk through these demos. Sometimes it's hard for me to follow along. We decided to do recently was take all the things that we talk about, put them in a weekly newsletter. We literally list all the tools, we link to them, and any demo that we walk through, we break it down step by step, put it in this newsletter so it's super easy for you to follow along. And the other nice thing is that if there's someone on your team that you think could benefit, they're working on that subject area, they could use a little bit of AI injection into their workflow, send them the newsletter, send them that particular episode. We make it super easy to do that. It's free to sign up. All you have to do is go to thisnewway.com and enter your email address, and you'll get this weekly email from us. Hope you enjoy it. With that said, let's go back to the episode. So, as this is building, what other games do you think one could make? I mean,
Wow,
what
there are
ideas does this give you?
so many ideas, right? Like learning languages.
100%. It's very interesting. I was thinking about the same thing too. I'm like very much thinking about all the educational games and things that you can make. But the other thing I was thinking, for example, is you could do this for spelling. The kids have spelling tests. So it'd be really nice if you just took a picture of their spelling words and it could just like build a quiz from it and you can take that or like you said,
Yeah.
build a story.
One really cool use case of Lovable we recently heard at a conference that we attended was this speaker knew that his mom really liked three different board games, and he used Lovable to build her a board game for her birthday that was the combination of those three board games.
Oh,
So
amazing.
he said, if you're not using Lovable apps as a birthday or Christmas present, you're staying behind.
Yeah. Okay. We have this done. So let's try this together. I'm going to click on division shortly, but let's play the mixed mode. Okay. So this is mixed multiplication. Wow. There's a timer.
So
I guess
cool.
it's giving us 15 seconds. So we can, so that was good. And then it resets the timer. Let's see what happens if I don't answer it in time to see what will happen. So my score is 1 out of 1. Oh, and it's interesting. It decided on its own that it will give me 20 questions for the mix section. So, okay, it just, yeah, it takes me to third one. And now I got a 1 out of 2. It's amazing. It just figured out all of the logic.
Those design decisions of like when you're right, it's green, when you're wrong, it's red. When the timer is close to 5 seconds, it turns red.
Kids aside, I mean, I might keep playing this. This is pretty fun.
I'm gonna start
So,
making games for myself.
yeah, this is fun. Okay. So that's the mix mode. Let's try division. I wonder what it did. So okay, kept everything in place. Let's go to division and let's see what it does. Like it basically
Super
flipped
cool.
it. I really like this. This is actually
Yeah, I think we should share this
very
in the show notes for other parents to start using with their kids.
what I will say is the next thing I'd want to do is, especially if you want to get the kids excited and do this with other kids, they might want to create a leaderboard, right? Because
Mhm.
if this becomes a game on your website, then different people can come in. I might want to build a registration system where people type their names. Actually, for the heck of it, let's do that, and this will be the last feature we add here. Okay, I want to build a registration process. I don't want a lot of detail, just the first name of a person. So when you come to the website, you give your first name and then it greets you and says, hello, first name, whatever your name is. And then I want to use that to create a leaderboard. So everybody who comes to play this game can track what their score is. And specifically for the score, I think the thing that is going to matter, the score has to be some sort of a combination of how fast you finish each row in the multiplication table and how many you get right. So the best score would be if you got all of them right and if you did it the fastest. And I'll leave it to your best judgment on how you're going to track that since there's 10 different cards and a mixed mode. But, think about the best way to create that leaderboard and create it. So now I'm being like really lazy because I didn't even give it like the best way to create the leaderboard. We'll let it figure that out. So this is interesting. So to complete this, it needs to create a database, right? So
Mm.
so far we haven't created a database. So I'm gonna click allow for it to create a database in the cloud. A database is needed because you need to store this so that the memory is persistent. So the next time you come back, basically you can see the leaderboard from before, brought back in. So this is a bit of a more complex task. So
And this starts to teach kids these concepts, right? Like maybe like this would be a moment where you explain to your daughters like what a database is.
yeah, exactly. Like, and why you would need a database and why didn't we need a database before? And not to say that you really need to know these things necessarily, but yeah, for sure I mean, this is a great education moment, but I'm just thinking I don't want this to be something that'll slow the people who may not know how to use a database themselves and want to show their kids. You don't actually need to know these things. You just basically Lovable will do all of the work for you. You just press allow several times in a row and it should do the rest. But of course, if you do have a question, another thing to is that you can ask Lovable that question. So you can say, "Oh, why do I need a database?" And it should be able to answer that question for you as well. Okay. This is really nice. I mean, this is actually very well done. So, okay, first name is Aydin. Oh, I want an email and a password. And okay, I'll just say ABC123 just to start. Okay, it says change my password. Okay, so now there is a leaderboard. So let's see what happens if I just do this very quickly. Let's see what my score is going to be with the leaderboard. But it's really cool how it did create it very quickly. This is so funny. Me that I'm taking a multiplication test live on a podcast. I better get everything right. No pressure, no pressure.
No pressure. You're doing great.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Okay, so let's see what my score is going to be now that I have this. So, okay, quiz complete.
Wow, you're a unicorn champion.
Time 36 seconds. Okay, so that's pretty cool. So now if I go back to home, let's see what the leaderboard shows.
You're there.
Oh, this is so smart how it actually did it. Look at this. So this is the times two table. And so I guess like you're gonna compare like each one of the tables. So if like the five table has its own, the two table has its own, and then there's like an all scores one. Like that's a very clever and logical way that it put this together and has
Mind
the
blowing.
division and the multiplication leaderboard. I mean, I'm impressed. I'm
Yeah, I'm
impressed.
impressed. This is so cool. And I think now is the time to build, right, Aiden? Like taking advantage of the fact that applications like Lovable are being so generous and allowing us to experiment with them so much.
I mean, this is pretty cool. This is basically the future, and I think everybody should get on it today. Like, there are other apps too. There's Lovable, there's Bolt.new. You can do a lot of things even inside of Claude or even inside of ChatGPT. But I would recommend Lovable. It's an easy interface, and they hide a lot of the complexity so that you don't have to think about it. Yeah, I mean, try it today. Hopefully, this is useful and if it is useful to you, let me know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to thisnewway.com, our newsletter, where we are going to show you more and more cool things that you can do with AI.
Yeah, and to wrap up this special edition of this new way, Aiden, what's like one parting advice that you would give to other parents or uncles and aunts who want to teach kids about AI?
The most important thing is to start doing. Watching is really cool. Send this video to everybody, sure, but really start doing it because it's when you start doing that you get more ideas. You'll probably do this, and in the process, you'll come up with 100 different ideas, and that's kind of how you get better. And I think like the biggest thing is if you can get kids excited about AI, about computers, about programming, all that stuff, the rest will take care of itself. All you have to do, I think, is just get them excited about the idea. And I think, they'll be able to make more and more progress on their own.
Super cool. I can't wait to share this episode with all my friends who are parents and all those that also have kids in their lives. So thank you for sharing. See you next time.
See you next time. And that's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of This New Way. If you like the content, be sure to rate, review, and subscribe so you can get notified when we post the next episode. See you next time.